Hey, what's up YouTube? What's up Facebook? This is Hey, it's K. It's me. I am back, and it has been a while. Again, I've been busy. Stuff happened. If you watched my previous video, you know, I've been inactive, and then my 2018 started interesting, and I lost my job, and it's because it was my fault. I made some stupid decisions, and because of those stupid decisions I got removed from my job, and that was completely my fault. I started a new job recently, and so far it's been challenging. I mean, it's difficult, but it's not to a point where, you know, I hated my job. I still like it. It's interesting. But anyway, so with this new job, the shift is kind of like the regular 9 to 6 or 8 to 5 schedule, and I'm not used to waking up early, so every time I come home I'm always tired, so I always just choose to rather rest or play games and just not do anything. But the reason why I'm doing this video now is because I wanted to let you guys know what I have been doing, aside from the stuff I mentioned a couple of seconds ago, what I have been doing that kept me busy for the past couple of months that I was away from the YouTubes. So I also wanted to let you guys know, since on one of my previous video I showed the Foldayo studio set, which I already set up in one corner of my apartment, or me and my wife's apartment. I already have it set up there. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys the stuff that I worked on for the past couple of months since my last video. So it's a good upgrade, you know. This is my first time seeing what my setup would look like on this specific video, so it'll be interesting. So I'm gonna transition to my other section, or to my studio set there, set everything up, and then, you know, let you guys see what I worked on for the past couple of months. All right, so wow, this is actually my first time seeing my studio set on camera, so I'm just blown away right now. It looks super cool. It's super bright. But anyway, this is my very first attempt in kit bashing. This is my own design for the RX-782 Gundam. I've been wanting to make this custom for such a long time, but I just can't find the right base kit to use for my idea. But you know, Bandai just released the high grade HGBF Gem model kit, and I love the proportions on that thing. So I actually used that and combined it with the Leopard Da Vinci kit, and, you know, added some parts here and there from the fixed figuration RX-782, and that's how I came up with this. I used dark colors on here. Maybe I'll put the colors I used on this side section here. That way, if you guys wanted to replicate the colors, you'll use the right ones here that I used. So I went with dark colors here. I didn't do the usual festive colors, so I went with dark colors. So you can see that you have dark blue and dark red, and normally, since I follow the GFF or fixed figuration detailing style, I used orange instead of yellow for the yellow parts. So this was my very first project, and I did this back in November. So yeah, I love how it turned out. I'm actually going to make a few changes on the equipment, especially the shield, because I'm not really liking the shield right now. I'm planning on replacing it with the Gundam FSD's shield. So moving on, let's move forward to the next kit or figure that I worked on after this. Next, I detailed the robot Damashi Hyakushiki. This is just a very straightforward detailing work. The robot Damashi figure is already built since it's an action figure, so I just did some minor detailing on it. So I added brown panel lines on gold. I added some red paint apps in some sections, like the tubes on the back of the knee or the back of the leg. I added black panel lines on the blue parts and the red parts, and I painted the piston silver and added dark brown panel lines on the dark gray areas. I also added some decals on there, so red decal warning signs on the body, white decals on the dark parts, and that is it. I love this figure, and there's really not much stuff I need to say here, but this was a really quick detailing project. I finished it in actually just a day, since it's super easy to do. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next project. Alright, so moving on to the next project. This is my custom high-grade 1/144 Shin Musha Gundam. Again, just like my previous custom, it is actually using the high-grade Jim kit as my base, and the parts or the armor parts are coming from the fixed figuration Shin Musha Gundam. Some people might think, hey, you already have the action figure, why did you transfer the armor parts to the high grade? Which doesn't make sense. Well, if some of you might not know it, but fixed figuration is actually well known for not having the greatest articulation. So I had the Shin Musha Gundam, but then the articulation wasn't that great. So I figured maybe I can transfer the parts and maybe do some modification to improve the articulation. The Jim is actually a good kit that has like a super fantastic articulation, so I figured, hey, let's try and incorporate the two lines, the model kit and the action figure, and combine it, and that will actually fix the fixed figurations issue for not having a good articulation. So basically, most of the parts or the base is coming from the high-grade Jim. However, the arms and the crotch piece is actually coming from the high-grade Black Warrior kit, and the other parts that's on the Jim's chest is actually plot plates that I painted to copper, which match the Shin Musha's copper parts. So this was a little bit tricky to do. I was nervous that I wasn't gonna be able to successfully do the mod, because there was a lot of cutting, a lot of putty work, a lot of sanding that I needed to do to make the parts fit, because initially the parts will not cooperate because it's two completely different molds, so you have to do a lot of modification to combine all the parts and make it work for each other. So this was fun, this was interesting to do, but I don't want to do it again because it's just too much work for me. So that's the third project. My turntable stopped. But anyway, that's the third project that I worked on. I finished this back in March. So while I was working this kit, I was actually working on another one. So this and another project was actually being done at the same time, but I'm gonna save the other project for last. So let's move on to the next project. Peace. Alright, so next we have the Metal Robot Damashi Gundam 00 Riser. Let's go ahead and move the tripod way back because it's not seeing the whole figure. But yeah, this is the Metal Robot Damashi 00 Riser figure that was a gift from my good friend Zach. And initially, when he gave it to me, I was thinking, you know, what am I gonna do with this figure? I mean, all of my figures are from the Universal Century line, and this one is just gonna be out of place. Eventually I ended up loving the figure. This is actually one of the best Robot Damacy figures I've ever played with, and I love it. It's something that I can include on my top 10 favorite figures. The articulation is really good. The detailing is fantastic. The paint initially, like out of the box, it has a matte finish, so a lot of people would appreciate that because it doesn't look like some other figures where it looks like a toy because of the glossy look. So this one has a matte finish to it. But I just added, just like the heyit'skei, I just did some basic detailing on it. So I repainted the yellow parts to orange, just like the usual. I added purple panel lines on it, dark brown panel lines on the dark parts. What else? I slapped on the real grade decal sheets, or sorry, I slapped on the decals from the real grade 00 riser decal sheet, and that is pretty much it. After the decals has been applied, I added some decal softener, and then I just added a matte finish on it, and that's pretty much it. And it looks so much better than, you know, how it looks like out of the box. So I finished this also in April, because it was just a really, no, not April, but also in March or February. I forgot. I don't know. I've been busy, but it's around that time frame. But yeah, I truly love this figure now, and I decided to, you know, keep this, you know, since it's a gift from a good friend. Really fantastic figure. And let's move on now to the last. Oh, you know what, actually I forgot two more things. These two things that I'm gonna show next is actually the first two kits that I worked on. This was in January and February, so we're gonna do two more kits and let you guys know what I did on them. All right, so these were the the first two kits that I actually worked on when 2018 started. So this is the let me just fix the shoulder there. There you go. So this was the high grade Universal Century Blue Destiny and the P Bandai Efreet Custom. So on this one, this is the very first kits that I did a full paint job on. So for the Blue Destiny, the light blue parts that you are seeing is actually Tamiya French blue, and the darker shade is Tamiya blue, just, you know, the regular blue. The dark gray sections that you are seeing is Gunship gray, while the lighter shade that you are seeing on the gray areas is the what paint did I use? German gray. And of course white is gonna be Tamiya matte white, and the red is gonna be Tamiya bright red. And let's go ahead and spin the turntable once more. As for the Efreet, I used Tamiya blue for the dark blue parts. I used Tamiya brilliant orange on the orange parts, matte white. And for the red parts, I used Tamiya Mika red, and those little round sections on the missile pods, I just used ivory white on those, and then the usual German gray. And then what I focused on is the blades. The blades, it was a clear piece. If you Google what it looks like, it was a orange clear piece, which doesn't make sense if you're gonna put it on the sides or on the back skirt, on the backpack. It doesn't make sense to me that it's activated while it's stored on the backpack or on the side skirts. So I painted the clear piece to gray, separated the blade using two shades of gray, which is haze gray and German gray. So the lighter shade of gray that you're seeing on the blade is haze gray. The darker shade on the blade is German gray. The handle is painted black, and then the tubes that you're seeing, or the pipes that you're seeing on the blade, is painted light gray. So it's 3 shades of gray and black that you are seeing on the F-reed. As for lining, I did black on dark blue. I also did dark brown on gray, and that is it. Oh, black panel lines on red also, and that is it. I added the usual decal work on it, GFF style, and these were the 2 kits that started my year, and I actually loved these 2 kits, or I enjoyed working on these 2 kits, mainly because this was one of the few kits that I've been wanting to have in high grade form, and they're finally here. All right. Anyway, this one also, I also just got the Ifrit knot, which is from 0081, the rival of the RX-787. I'm actually working on it as of right now, and I will post it as soon as I'm done with it. So the next thing I'm gonna be showing to you guys is my final project, which I recently finished 2 months ago. Alright, and last but certainly not the least, this is pretty much the biggest project that I ever done in my building and detailing experience. This is my custom Hazel Osla with the gigantic arm unit from the Advance of Zeta novel or manga. This was such a big project that took me about 4 months to finish. A lot of detailing work was done on this one. A lot of putty work, especially a putty work on the back piece here. A lot of patience. It really tested my patience here. This is my first attempt on detailing a resin kit, and it was so frustrating. It was fun, but it was so frustrating, and so it's very time consuming also, but you know, I did what I had to do. I really wanted to push through in finishing this, but it was just super difficult for me, and this was like, in order for me to do this, you have to combine 8 1144 high grade kits, which is not something I've done in the past. This was the first time I did something crazy like this. Will I do it again? Maybe not. Again, this burned me out. I thought I was gonna have fun with it, but it burned the fuck out of me. It was, I don't know, I just burned out. I was at that point where it came to a point where I don't want to finish it anymore, but I was so close to finishing it, so I decided, like, you know, fuck it, let's finish it. So this was the outcome of my very first like huge kit bash project. I can't believe like this consisted like 8 high grade kits. So on this one, I did just, you know, matte white, Tamiya brilliant orange, Tamiya Mica red, gunship gray, Tamiya dark blue. What else did I do? Tamiya haze gray, Tamiya light gray. On this one, you can see it's a different shade of gray than the one on the middle side, middle section of the joint. So I'll just put the colors on the side here, that way you guys can see. It's not perfect. I made a mistake right here, this section right here. It's not aligned. I modified the legs, or sorry, I modified the pegs wrong. So if we move this back, so if you move this back, you're gonna see this side here is just slightly like diagonal here, where it's supposed to be like up there. So it's not that bad, but I kind of feel bad that I wasn't able to nail it perfectly. But thinking about it, you know, it's my first time doing this. It's my first time kit bashing something big like this, and for the most part it looks good in my opinion. So I'm happy. I'm actually happy how this thing turned out, despite, you know, the flaws that it had. And other than the colors, let's see, decal work, a lot of decal work, so much decal work, and that is pretty much it. These are the kits that kept me busy, and I guess, oh, and I forgot, I'm just gonna move this away. You can actually see that I made a custom I got the Action Base 3. I specifically picked the Action Base 3. It's because it has the option for you to print a card that you can slide in onto the base. So I printed out a Titans Test Team logo and slide it in there. So now it kind of looks like, you know, it has a custom stand that works well, since, you know, it's a Titans Test Team unit and you have the Titans Test Team logo on there. So yeah, so those are the kits and figures that I worked on from November up until April, and that's what kept me busy. Aside from that, I was working for the most part, super tired for the most part, and right now I'm actually working on 4 commissions, and I'm doing 3 of them this month. So I have more content to upload. I want to ask your opinion on what do you think of my new setup here. Is this better than before? I'm pretty sure it's better than before because it looks fucking awesome. I no longer have problems with the lighting, so that is awesome. So let me know what you think with the new setup. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video.